Hey everyone, welcome to Sketch Day. I'm Spencer, where every day I give you something new and hopefully interesting about sketching. And today I'm going to do something simple. I'm going to draw a key fob. So that's that little thing that you typically get with a car to open and close your doors. And we'll do a few little mixed materials here. But this will be an analog sketch demo, meaning I'm going to be using paper, markers, spray marker, that kind of thing. And next time I'll do something hopefully digital. But if you want, you can purchase items using the links in the description for the video, or just grab what you have: pen, paper, markers, and so on. So let's get started. Now, always when I sketch, I try to focus on three things. The first is form. So that is kind of the overall shape, position, size, and 3D representation of the object. Two is function. So what does the thing do? Breaking that into its functional bits, whether it has buttons or switches or toggles or whatever. And three, context. And that is, where's the object? What is it used for? Does it fit into somewhere? We may not touch on all of these. And then the fourth is detail. So that'll be texture, graphics, that kind of thing. So let's start with form. So to start with form, let's start with just a quick thumbnail sketch here of what this key fob might look like. And I'm keeping this fairly loose, right? So if we've got rounded corners, kind of mapping that out, maybe where the buttons would be on the key fob, sorry. And maybe we've got something like this with a little, space for the key ring, and this could be chrome, for example. And I'll just mock that in with my pen. But just to give a quick overview of the design, I can do kind of a top view. And I also say, when in doubt, rough it out. So if we can label this button 1, button 2, this is button 3, here's the key ring, for example. And this mainly serves to kind of help guide me as I sketch. If you need to, you can also do another view, right? That helps. So this gives a little bit more idea of the side profile. We could even do just kind of an end view as well if we want. Again, this is chrome. Here's that little chrome area. Maybe there's a little port where it plugs into the car, so on, and buttons. Okay, quick shadow, background, and this is kind of how you would quickly set up the constituent parts of your sketch. So now let's get to a perspective view. So to do the form, we'll start by mapping out a couple rectangles here and sketching this in 3-point perspective. I also say, when in doubt, rough it out. So if you don't understand or know exactly how to sketch, just kind of block things in first. Find your center line. Okay, rough that in as well. And we'll use contrast, color, markers, and so forth to kind of pull detail out of the sketch. So now I can analyze my top sketch here. It looks like the front of this is curved and it's within a square, if you will, probably about this big. So I'm just gonna sketch a quick ellipse here. If you want, you can project that down as well. Figure out where the bottom ellipse is, sketch that in. We know that the end of this key fob is slightly curved, so I can slightly curve the end here. 2 ellipses for the rounded corners, like so. Okay. And I like to connect my ellipses just with a couple lines as I'm sketching. And we can complete this curve, like so. Just like that. And just for the rounded corner, slightly inset, I'm going to draw a secondary line. Now I want to get these buttons in place, so we can start by dividing or drawing thusly, sketching on top, and applying a little bit of line weight where we need to. And I'm going to have my buttons on the side slightly wrapped down on this key fob here. Okay. And maybe we have some graphics on these buttons. And then we have our little chrome element on the end. Again, I'm not worrying about making this perfect. If I really wanted to, I could do another overlay and get this the way I want. But for now, I'm just gonna kind of leave this as a nice loose sketch, like so. Okay, so what do you do from here? Well, if you're gonna apply marker, you always want to work light till you get it right. Now I have a cool gray 7, 9, and I have a black. I'm gonna start with my 7 and kind of outline my form here. Again, we're keeping this nice and loose, and I am working with marker paper, I should say. So if you're working with printer paper, your sketch may not show up the same way mine does. And I'm just gonna kind of shade in here on the side. Looks like my marker is drying out a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage as you sketch with a drier marker, particularly if you're trying to get some texture on your sketch. But as this is a key fob, it's going to be pretty dark, so not too worried. I'm going to jump to a cool gray 8. This is a different brand of marker, but should work just fine since they're both alcohol based. And now I can shade consistent with the surface geometry. And depending on the surface finish of your product, you may want to consider stylistically applying this gradient with the marker. Now the way I'm holding the marker, again, is consistent with how I want the surface to read on this product. And a lot of times I get the question, how do you know where to leave white areas? Well, the easy answer is light never hits a surface completely evenly. And you want to try and mimic that as you're sketching. So try and pay attention to how things look around you and see if there's a way to abstract that with your marker. Okay. All right. So now hopefully this cool gray 7 has recovered a little bit. Oh, actually I do have another cool gray 7. So let's use this cool gray 7 on the top. And I'm just going to create a nice little outline. And for the top, assuming this is, something maybe a little shinier or has some gloss on the top, the way I apply my strokes, right, again, consistent with the surface, I'm trying to imagine that there are things in the environment that are reflecting onto this key fob. Not too worried about the change in surface geometry right here. We can address that as we go. But as light hits this, we're going to get reflections happening, okay? So I want to get like a nice deep shadow core across the top. Make sure that I also have some contrast on this edge, because where light changes direction, where a surface changes direction, meaning if you have a surface moving this way and it breaks, you're going to get contrast. And where that contrast reads is how you're going to be able to communicate surface geometry. So now I'm going to take, let's see if we can get this to work. Take my cool gray 9 and the spray marker. And we'll do a quick little test here. Okay, I just want a little bit of spray marker across the top, just like that. Okay, and it's really subtle, but it's going to give a nice little gradient to that area of the sketch so that it doesn't feel so flat. So now I'm going to address the chrome bit of my drawing. And for that, I'm just using a Sharpie. Okay. And with Chrome, it's going to pick up reflections and artifacts in your environment. Meaning, if I'm standing, for example, in front of the urinal in a bathroom, for you guys out there, for you ladies, if you look at the Chrome fixtures in the restroom, you can kind of see what happens. Your reflection gets compressed. You can see things in the environment wrapping around the surface. And so my suggestion would be just, take a minute, pay attention to that, and see what you can learn. Okay, so right here on the edge, I'm going to kind of mock in some artifacting across the top. And let's get that nice and good. Now, moving down, I may see a little bit of gradienting, for example, on this chrome, but I'm just going to have a nice solid black area right here where perhaps, there is something dark that is reflecting into this and kind of wrapping down. If I had a blue marker, let me see if I have a black pencil here. So I might be able to mock this in. And we're in luck. I do have a black pencil. So with this pencil, I can kind of shade in with where I have this dark area on the edge and create a gradient moving down. Okay, same on this far edge, a little bit of a gradient coming in. And that's going to be my chrome. Now for the rest of this drawing, I can bump some line weights up, introduce more shadow where I need it, so where these buttons need to be cut out. Okay, just adding a little bit of shadow here will kind of help that read a little better rather. And giving some more line weight to the sketch overall. Now you may be wondering, man, last time you used an iPad, why are you drawing on paper again? I think it's important to kind of maintain a basic skill set with drawing on paper, because paper isn't as forgiving as being able to sketch digitally, where you have undo and you can zoom in and there's all these tricks and tools, and a lot of people get really dependent on those tools, including templates, right? And so the ability to quickly visualize an idea without those tools, I think, is important as an industrial designer. But if you're just a visualizer or designer, or you're brainstorming, or whatever the case may be, being able to just quickly visualize on pen and paper in an effective and competent way is going to take you, I think, it's going to give you a little bit of an advantage in your career. So consider that. Try not to get too dependent on those tools, whether it be digital templates or even analog templates like ellipse guides and that kind of thing. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use them for your drawings and to make your drawings look better, but just remember, you may not always have those tools with you, okay? And you may not always have a lot of time to work on a sketch either. Okay, so just like our thumbnail, we can carry those notes in to our final sketch. And this is dummy text, but again, I just want to show you guys how this dummy text can kind of elevate, or rather enhance, your product sketches. Okay, a little bit of a parting line there for the body. And we can take our gouache again. I think I used this last time. So just a little white paint. Yes, I did just lick that. And I'm using the side of my marker pad here as a palette. And with this nice fine brush, I can come in over my sketch and put in what, when I was in school, we used to call this bird poops. But just little highlights on edges that you want to have pop. Okay, you can kind of paint that in. All right, just a little bit. Don't want to overdo it, but kind of helps your sketch pop a little bit more. Particularly where you have an edge that's going to be catching more light, if you will, because of the geometry of that edge. All right, and I think I'm going to call it on this one. So we covered form, function, and detail. Didn't really cover context. Context you can sometimes do by using the background of your sketch to add like a topical texture or shape to kind of communicate what this thing is. You can have arrows, you can have people in a sketch, a hand, for example. I could have sketched a hand in this. But this is a good way to approach a product concept presentation. Think of form, function, context, and detail. Well, thanks for joining us here at Sketchaday. As always, please support our channel, subscribe. I'm on Instagram at sketchaday.com. And thank you so much for following us every day and leaving comments. Really appreciate it. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me these days. So shoot me a message if you have any questions, leave a comment, that kind of thing. Also, subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your kids, tell everybody. Subscribe. I'll be posting hopefully one video a week, and possibly more, but one video for now. And you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/sketchaday, or you can email me, spencer@sketchaday.com. I just love hearing from you guys, and I'll do my best to reply. Please support this channel and my effort by purchasing items through the links that I provide. Yes, they are affiliate links, and that means that by purchasing the materials that you'll use to do your own practice, you get to support what we do here. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Sketchaday.